Please subscribe us and turn on the bell notification on.
Hi friends, today we discuss about the oxidative phosphorylation. Just under the subject of biological oxidation, after respiratory ETC chain, then the final topic of this chapter or last topic of this chapter is the oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation, which is occurred in the mitochondrial membrane, generally F0 and F or complex 4-5 for oxidative phosphorylation for the synthesis of ATP. Biological oxidation, there is a different topics we discussed in the earlier class. Today we discuss about the oxidative phosphorylation. What is the theory of chemiosmotic theory? Proton pump ATP synthesis and inhibitor of ATP synthesis. What is oxidative phosphorylation? The transport of electron through the ETC is linked with the release of free energy and the process of synthesize ATP from the ADP plus Pi coupled to electron transport chain is known as the oxidative phosphorylation. And the complex V for the inner mitochondrial membrane is the site for oxidative phosphorylation. Basically, there is a combination of oxidation and phosphorylation. It's called oxidative phosphorylation. This oxidative phosphorylation occurs in these two processes, generally by the substrate level and directly oxidative phosphorylation. Substrate level oxidative phosphorylation, where ADP will be converted in presence of Pi, it converted to ATP. And this ATP, which are utilized for the muscle contraction, active transport, biosynthesis and phosphorylation. After excess ATP, which is formation of creatine to creatine phosphate, which is another high energy compounds, and ultimately the phosphate will be released, then the oxidative phosphorylation, substrate level oxidation will be this oxidative phosphorylation basically depend upon the phosphate is to oxygen ratio. If in case of NADPH, we can see the reaction, the PO ratio is the 3. That's why these produce in 3 ATP in the electron transport chain after introduce of 1 NADH. And in case of PO ratio of FADH2, it produce 2, that will be produced 2 ATP in case of ETC chain. But this is not the correct figure, but now the research is going on, and the present scenario, the PO ratio in case of NADP is 2.5 and in case of FADH2 is 1.5. So exactly in this recent study, you can see NADPH produced 2.5 ATP and FADH2 produce 1.5 ATP. The PO ratio is the define the number of inorganic phosphate molecule incorporated into ATP for the atom of oxygen consumed. When a pair of electron of NADP is reduced, an atom of oxygen 2.5 molecule of ATP will be formed in case of NADPH. And site of ATP synthesis of oxidative phosphorylation in electron transport chain. There are the 3 reactions in the ETC chain are exergonic in the result in the synthesis of 3 ATP molecule in the 3 site of ATP formation in the ETC. First one is the oxidation of FADH2 by the coenzyme Q. Second, oxidation of cytochrome B by cytochrome C1. And third is the cytochrome oxidase reaction. Each one of the above reaction represents coupling site of ATP production, and there are only 2 coupling site of oxidation of FADH2, since the first step is the bypass. What are the energetics of oxidative phosphorylation? Generally, in case of energy after NADP, which bind with the H plus, they produce 52 kilocalorie, and that 50 kilocalorie ultimately the efficiency of energy is 21.9 into 100 by 52 equal to 42% of energy efficiency in case of oxidative phosphorylation. What are the mechanism of oxidative phosphorylation? There the several hypotheses or the several opinion has been established for put the forth in the explanation of the process of oxidative phosphorylation. The most important among the namely chemical coupling and chemiosmotic. There is a true process. What is the chemical coupling hypothesis? And a series of phosphorylated high energy intermediate are the first produced which are utilized for the synthesis of ATP and believed to be analogous to substrate level phosphorylation, and that occurs in the glycolysis or in the TCA cycle. And this hypothesis lack of experimental evidence. First on the chemical coupling hypothesis. In case of the chemical, this hypothesis is put of the Edward Slater in 1953. According to chemical coupling hypothesis, during this course of electron transfer in the respiratory chain, a series of phosphorylated high energy intermediate are first produced and which are utilized for the synthesis of ATP. And these reactions are believed to the analogous to substrate level phosphorylation that occurs in glycolysis or citric acid cycle. However, this hypothesis lacks experimental evidence since all attempts so far so isolate any one of the high energy intermediates have not been successful. Another is the most important and realistic mechanism is chemiosmotic theory. That means the osmosis occurred in some chemical compounds. This mechanism originally proposed by the Peter Michael in 1961, and he is now widely accepted. This mechanism, it explains how the transport of electron through the respiratory chain it is effectively utilized to produce ATP for ADP plus Pi. And in this concept of chemiosmotic hypothesis, it is comparable with the energy stored in the battery separately by positive and the negative charge, just like it. And they produce some proton gradient. That means here it is a H plus ion will be produced. And this inner mitochondrial membrane, such as the impermeable to proton or H plus and hydroxyl ion, the transport of electron through the ETC is coupled with the translocation of the protons across the inner mitochondrial membrane and coupling membrane, and from the matrix toward the inner membrane space, and the pumping of proton results in the electrochemical and proton gradient, and it is due to accumulation of more hydrogen ion concentration in the low pH on the outer side of the inner mitochondrial membrane than the inner side. The proton gradient developed due to the electron flow in the respiratory chain is sufficient to result in the synthesis of ATP from ADP plus Pi. This is the chain for the synthesis. There is an inner mitochondrial membrane. ATP will be synthesis in the low pH. That means the pH is low, below 7 or high. There is some production of H plus proton, and that will be goes to the complex 5. Another take part most powerful, the ATP synthase, one enzyme which is involved in the F0 and F1 complex, that means in the complex 5, utilized to proton gradient for the synthesis of ATP. And this enzyme also known as the ATPase, since it can hydrolyze ATP to ADP plus Pi. And ATP synthase is a complex enzyme and consists of the two functional subunits. One is the F1 and another F0, and structure is compatible with the just like a lollipop, with the proton that accumulate on the intermembrane spaces 18th of the mitochondrial matrix, leading to the synthesis of ATP. This is the chemiosmotic hypothesis. In this case, we can see there is a 5 complex, and in this pH gradient, in case of first of the mitochondrial matrix and inner mitochondrial membrane to inter membrane space, there is a produce 1H plus 2H plus 2H 2H, total 6H plus will be produced in the complex 1, 2 and 3 and 4. But in case of 5, the 6H just goes to the F0 and F1. That means the 3 ADP plus Pi in presence of 2H2, it produces 3 ATP. This ATP will be produced, which is explained by the rotary motor model of ATP generation. Paul Boyer in 1964 proposed it, this rotary drum model, and he got the Nobel Prize in 1997, that a conformational changes in the mitochondrial membrane protein leads to synthesis of ATP. Basically, it contains C subunit, C proteins and 2 subunits. This original Boyer hypothesis are now considered the rotary model, driving model of the binding chain. That model is widely accepted of the ATP generation. To see the structure, just like it contains inner mitochondrial membrane which contain the C protein, C terminal proteins, and the proton gradient, this hydrogen ion which rotate the axis of gamma, and it is contain 3 flaps, 3 alpha and 3 beta, and beta are the negative charge and alpha are the positive charge. When it is rotated by the gamma in the C proteins, in presence of the hydrogen proton or proton pump, proton gradient, it will be rotated, and ultimately 1 beta alpha, then beta, the 1 beta negative charge, they produce 1 ATP. All this beta they produce, here is the 3 beta will be produce 3 ATP. The enzyme ATP synthase in the F1 and F0 complex. The F6 subcomplex is the channel protein C subunit, which is F1 ATP synthase is attached, and F1 ATP synthase consists of the central gamma subunit around by the alternating the CR protein and subunit alpha 3 and beta 3. In response to the protein flux, the one subunit 1 physically rotates, and it is introduced the conformational changes in the beta subunit. They finally lead to the ATP. According to the binding changes mechanism, the beta subunit of ATP1 synthase adopt different conformations. One subunit has a open for denote O conformation, and the second one the loose L conformation, and while is the third, which is the tight or T conformation. The unknown, this is the by the unknown mechanism, proton introduced into the rotary gamma subunit, which is turned into the conformation and changes in the beta subunit. That substrate ADP plus Pi bind to beta subunit in the L conformation, and this L site changes to T conformation, and this led to the ATP synthesis. The O site changed to L conformation while bind to the ADP plus Pi, and the T site is changed to O conformation that release ATP. That means L to T or O to T or T to O. There are 3 conformation and changes and 3 state and 3 ATP will be produced. And this cycle of conformation and changes of beta subunit is repeated, and the 3 ATP are generated in revolution. And that is may be noted in the ATP release in the O conformation is energy dependent, and it is very crucial in the rotary motor model of ATP generation. The enzymes ATP synthase acts as a proton driving motor, and it is a example of rotary catalysis. This ATP synthase is the world's smallest molecular motor. These are the binding site, binding changes of rotary model. Here are the 3 sites where gamma is spin. Here first one is the L to T, ADP plus Pi ATP, and ADP plus L to T conformation, ATP will be produced, another O to L produced. There is another, that's why in case of NADPH it produces 3 ATP, and it just like that in case of FADH there is 2H2, 2H plus will be produced, and there 2 ATP will be produced. Now we discuss about the different topics. Inhibitor of electron stage. Just before the oxidative phosphorylation, this hydrogen ion will be passes through the electron transport chain, and this electron transport chain basically different so many sectors, generally 3 sides where the it will be inhibited. many specific sites for the inhibition of electron transport chain. Number 1, NADH and coenzyme Q. The fish porphyrosterone or barbiturate drugs, amytal, barbiturate drugs which are for hypnotic drugs, amytal or antibiotics, picidin, a inhibitors of these sites. And between the cytochrome B and C1, the antimycin is the antibiotics or British anti-leucite or BAL, the antidote used against war or gas for the two important inhibitors of the sites between the cytochrome B and C. And number 3, inhibitor for cytochrome oxidase, carbon monoxide, cyanide, hydrogen sulfide and azide. Effectively inhibit the cytochrome oxidase. Carbon monoxide reacts with the reduce the cytochrome with cyanide, and azide react with the oxidized form. Cyanide poisoning or cyanide is probably the most potent inhibitor of ETC chain. That's why in case of cyanide poisoning, there is a chance of electron transport chain totally inhibit, and it will be not generated. Ultimately, death may occur. It binds with the Ap3 of cytochrome oxidase and blocking the mitochondrial respiration, leading to cell death. And this cyanide poisoning caused death due to tissue asphyxia. Inhibitors of oxidative phosphorylation or uncoupler. What it means? Uncoupler. It is a coupling reaction between the oxidation and the phosphorylation, or ADP plus Pi. It is coupled with to form ATP. But some compound which inhibit this coupling procedure. That's why it is a uncoupler. Some uncoupler to inhibit. That means to inhibitors of oxidative phosphorylation. And it will be general number as for example 2,4-dinitrophenol or DNPase. These are the, it has been extremely studied in the small lipophilic molecule. DNP is the proton carrier and it is easily diffused through the inner mitochondrial membrane. And in the people seeking to lose or loss weight, this is a drug used for the loss of weight, but DNP was used as the drug. There it is now discontinued in produce the hyperthermia. That means ATP will be not produced and their energy, their temperature will be lost and they produce the hypothermia. And another side effect also. And in fact, the Food and Drug Administration USA has banned this DNP. This is the structure. Another uncoupler in the dinitrocresol, pentachlorophenol and trifluorocarbon and phenyl hydrazone. And the last component is said to be 100 times more effective as a uncoupler than the dinitrophenol. That means phenyl hydrazone. And when administered in the high dose of drug, aspirin acts as an uncoupler. Generally, aspirin as a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. Analgesic we can generally use, but this is an uncoupler. In case aspirin high dose, you can use a high dose of aspirin. There is a low generation of ATP for inhibit oxidative phosphorylation. And there is a physiological uncoupler. Certain physiological substances which acts as an uncoupler at the higher concentration have been identified. And these include thermogenin, thyroxine and long chain free fatty acid. These are the three components which are that uncoupler. This unconjugated bilirubin is also believed to act as an uncoupler. In this, there is yet to be proved beyond a doubt, but there is some physiological compound which inhibit the oxidative phosphorylation naturally. What is the significance of the uncoupling? Generally, the good significance, basically it produce heat will be not produced, and heat will not. There is a thermogenin compound is the natural uncoupler located in the inner mitochondrial membrane and brown adipose tissue. It is like an uncoupler and blocks the formation of ATP and liberate the heat. Others inhibitor for oxidative phosphorylation. One is the oligomycin. The antibiotic prevent the mitochondrial oxidation as well as the ATP synthesis to block the proton channel. And atractylosides. It is the plant toxin inhibit the oxidative phosphorylation by the direct mechanism. Adenine nucleotide carrier synthesis facilitated in the transport of ATP and ADP. Atractylosides inhibit the adenine nucleotides carrier and thus block the adequate support of ADP, therefore preventing the phosphorylation is bind with the ATPase enzymes. So thank you. Thank you all the listeners. If any question, please ask me or comment me in the comment box, or if you like it, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening for this. And in this regards, I convey my gratitude and regards with the MD Vasudevan and Sutta UC Chakrapani, and also my son Somalo Singho. He is a technical expert of this channel. Thank you all.